Okay.
All right. Well, welcome to what is it's going to be episode 5, but it's technically episode 4 of Drop Third Strike, our baseball podcast, featuring myself, Terry Gant, and my friend in Colorado, Beth Davies. And you didn't get an episode from us last week because of technical difficulties, so we have 2 weeks of baseball talk for you.
Oh, yeah, we
One
do.
day.
Or we have 2 days worth. I don't know which. I don't know.
Or 2 days worth.
Yeah. It's hard. There's a lot to talk about. I have the Padres Rockies game on behind me because I live in Denver, but I'm cut the cord. I don't get to see local games until the next day. I'm blacked out because I use the MLB.TV. To watch.
Cool.
And so I actually haven't seen Friday's game yet, and that is what is on in the background.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. And
cool.
So they're all wearing their 42s, and
I think they're wearing their 42s all weekend.
Yeah, I'm so glad. And yeah, it's right. It's not really a way to figure out which day the game is. And they're talking about the Denver weather, and that's not a way to tell what day the game is either. So, but I'm sure it's Friday's game. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So the one where the Padres got 19 hits. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. That's a bad situation. If you're the opposing team that the Padres are playing.
That's right.
Because the Padres bats went nuts.
Yeah, that's right.
Crazy. Lisa just passed me a note that I should we should use what I think is the Ernie Banks call of Let's Play 2. Since we had 2 weeks.
That's right. She's right. Let's play 2. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because got a lot to catch up on.
Right.
Last week, if we had, well, I would have talked more about the Padres. Fernando Tatis Jr. had it was like the 4 Grand Slam game or something.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating, but he did hit that Grand Slam that everybody got mad at him for, and.
The old unwritten rule.
Yeah.
How dare you do this thing that you're really good at doing?
I know.
When you're ahead in the game. When our pitcher serves up a meatball to you.
And it was before that happened, but it was really that day that the Padres became must-see TV for me. I just cannot wait for Padres games anymore. And also the day I think that I texted you to say that he was my new secret celebrity boyfriend, which is
well, it's not a secret anymore.
No secret. I'm
come tomorrow morning, he'll even know he's your celebrity boyfriend.
That's right, because our Legion of Fan will tell him.
Yep. Yeah, our Legion of Fan is at least savvy enough to be able to get an Instagram or a tweet or something out to Fernando Tatis Jr. to let him know he has a secret ethicist girlfriend in Colorado.
That's right.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I never thought about that. I never thought that would make me somebody's secret girlfriend, but I guess I am, aren't I?
Yeah, that's what that is.
Right.
Entirely.
I will be that. I will own that. I will live it. I will walk in it.
It is a situation that doesn't require a whole lot. Right? He doesn't have to show up for holidays or anything. He simply has to hit baseballs.
I don't have to get him any presents.
And he has to just piss off the Texas Rangers, which I think is now my lot in life, is to watch the Texas Rangers get destroyed because of their reaction to Fernando Tatis being Fernando Tatis. And I'm also, I was kind of angry also at Fernando Tatis' manager for giving him a take sign, right? Why are you giving him a take sign? Score runs. It's not like no one's ever come back in games like this before. People have come back. Yeah. What would you rather be? Would you rather be the team that wins by 5 runs or the team that ends up giving up 6 runs in an inning and loses when you were up, 4 or 5 runs? Don't do that,
Right. Well, and as somebody else pointed out, I thought very rightly, is that that guy, Fernando Tatis Jr., it is Fernando, right? They call him Nando. They call him Nando. So I think his secret girlfriend has a right to call him Nando. So
sure. It's fair. It's in the rules.
Okay, so Nando.
The unwritten rules of secret celebrity sports boyfriends.
Whatever they are, we'll make them up, or we'll discover them because they're unwritten, so we don't know what they are.
Right.
But he has a right to his personal achievements too.
Right.
Right.
Because for sure, what's gonna, Legion of Fan is very important, and this happens a lot in baseball where specifically in baseball, where players do any number of things on the field all season long, and we watch these players do these things. But then at the end of the season, it's like contract talks begin, and the team will have no problem with the fact that you might have hit 45 home runs and like 120 RBIs, which is really good. But then you may have struck out like 102 times, right? And it's like, ooh, you strike out 102 times. If you got those strikeouts down by 5 strikeouts, we could actually give you 20% more. We can't give you the 20% everybody thinks we got to give you because those 5 strikeouts are just too much for us, right? Like suddenly it's everything you didn't do that they have like written down to come to you with, to be like, yeah, you know, you could be our best player. We love you. We drafted you number 1 overall 5 years ago. You've won an MVP. Because of you, we've won our division 5 straight years. But you know, you don't walk enough, right? Like we know you're due for like a $10 million raise. We can only offer you like $3 million because if you had 15 more walks, it puts you on par with this other guy out in Oakland who walks like, I don't know, he walks like twice as much as you do, you know. Now he's never been an all-star or anything, but like we got to count those walks. This is the way baseball is, you know. Screw those guys, you know. He is absolutely allowed to have his personal achievements, and he's not selfishly getting them, right? There are players in the league for years who they have these like great home run totals, but all these home runs are hit like when the team is already down 4 runs, and they hit solo home runs because no one gets on base for teams like that, right? So like these guys are suddenly, everybody's like, oh man, look at that guy hit 35 home runs. Yeah, he hit 35 home runs for a 100 loss team, right? So when those 35 home runs get hit, you know, there's nobody on base for the dude. So I mean, he can't hit in front of himself and for himself, right? Like, but he sure as hell didn't like help his team really win. Like those guys exist, you know.
Indeed,
that was that.
Indeed, they do. Charlie Blackmon exists.
Charlie Blackmon, is that your guy? Like most home runs hit unnecessarily.
No, not home runs, but I mean he's hitting 390 for no apparent reason.
He is, in fact, yeah, he's hitting almost 400, which is a milestone in baseball. Like no one has hit 400 for a season since right? Ted Williams did it. I think still no one's done it since Ted Williams' racist jerk ass. But like, the fact that someone can hit 390, you know, 30 games in, like we're basically halfway through the season here, and someone's hitting close to, they're flirting with 400, is pretty damn important, you know.
It's very important, and they had a graphic up on this game before they started play, showing you Nando, Manny Machado, and Charlie Blackmon, and they all have pretty similar stats, except for one thing, is that Blackmon's home runs are less. By I think kind of a lot. I don't remember now, but I think by a lot. And yet his RBIs are the same, and he's got this outrageous batting average. It's just well, go Charlie, you know, because we like him around here. We like Charlie Blackmon here.
Charlie Blackmon's a very likable guy.
Yeah, he really is. He's funny, humble, and he has this really corny walk-up song, and everybody has this song they sing with it, and I don't know the song, or I'd tell you, but we always finish it when we're in the stands. It's like a thing. So even now with the recorded sound they're piping in, you can still hear all the crowd finishing his walk-up song as he's swinging back around.
What do you know the lyrics of this? Like, do you know the part we're finishing?
No, you know, it sounds like something like Journey would have recorded. And,
okay.
And I think it's I Don't Want to Lose Control Tonight.
Okay.
Does that sound like something?
Not to me.
I think that's what they're saying, and then the whole stands, they all sing the Tonight part, and I think that's what we're saying, but I don't actually know how to make this noise, and you're and you're involved, and it's really fun. And having the Padres here is the first time all season that I have really wished I could go to Coors Field. You know, that I've really hurt over this. Yeah, which is another thing about my boyfriend Nando, is that he should just let me have some fun, okay? Because things are a little rough right now, and you know, this just playing with exuberance and joy. Yeah, please do that, because I live that through you, and I like.
So Charlie Blackmon has 4 home runs and 28 RBIs on the season so far.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah. He's only at 4. Which that puts him definitely way back behind a bunch of the home run leaders, right? But like Tatis has 13, leading the league, but that 28 ain't so bad at all. Yeah, right. It's 28 is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. You know, So that's pretty good. That basically tells me that even if he's not hitting home runs, the Rockies are putting guys on base. So
yes, they are.
Charlie Blackmon's making things happen.
Yeah, and I would not ever want to have to like produce a lineup, but it does seem to me as though that's a no-brainer. If you have Charlie Blackmon in your lineup, then put everybody ahead of him that can get on base.
Yeah.
And just go from there, right?
Seems reasonable.
I don't.
And it looks like Blackmon. It looks like he's batting fourth. Like they got him batting cleanup. So whoever's batting ahead of him has been doing their job. He's in a good spot.
Yeah. Well, we got Trevor Story ahead of him, I'm sure.
And Trevor Story does everything.
Yeah. I don't know.
Doesn't look like he would, but like he turns out he's actually quite athletic for a guy who just looks like a regular old dude. But that's also baseball.
Yeah, that's baseball. And we've got he's got to have probably Arenado hitting third.
Probably, yeah. That would make sense.
Yeah, so then it's just whoever's hitting second or first. I don't know which one. I don't know Stories. I don't even know who's on the Rockies. Daniel.
Because you can't watch live Rockies games.
Well, and I don't normally watch Rockies games anyway, but I'm watching a Padres game right now. It just happens to be in Denver versus the Rockies. Yeah,
you're a baseball fan who tends to sort of like move around the league.
I do. I like to be dazzled. And so I do tend to prefer the winners, the people who are doing incredible things. It's why I've been a Max Scherzer fan for like 5 or 6 years.
Sure.
I don't care what team he's pitching for. I want to see that man pitch.
Trevor Story is he's like rated like number 4 amongst hitters in baseball. Like Trevor Story is like killing it out there.
Apparently so.
And batting second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Today. He's batting second today.
I think the Rockies have put as usual, put a good lineup together, and are just doing the best they can with pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, we fixed that before. We fixed pitching.
We did, and I was listening to a radio interview here in Chicago this morning with Marvin Freeman Jr. Former major league pitcher. He pitched in the A's organization and for a couple of other teams, and there are things like I'd basically forgotten all about Marvin Freeman Jr., right? Like I'd forgotten about this dude, and he would have been like a pitcher in the league when I started like playing fantasy baseball and really started to pay attention to stats in the 90s, right? And what people were doing. But I didn't realize that he went to my high school.
No way.
When Matt Spiegel asked him, mentioned that he was from Chicago, and he said, "Where'd you go to high school?" When he said where he went to high school, I was like, "Whoa, holy crap!" And this guy, he teaches, like he has like a pitching academy down in Atlanta now, right? And I'm just listening to him talk about like pitching philosophy is effectively acknowledging that every hitter has a routine, right? They have a routine. They have a system. There's a thing that they want to do when they come up to the plate. They have a plan, right? And the pitcher's job is to disrupt that plan as much as possible. Like when you think about it that way, it's like you, as a pitcher, you can't go up there throwing fastballs past everybody because every major league hitter can hit a fastball. So you got to figure out what it is you can do to like throw that guy's entire routine off so that you can be successful. And the way he did it, because he said for himself growing up as a pitcher, what he knew was he could throw like a lights out, like 90-something miles an hour fastball. He could blow the ball past all kinds of guys. And he had this like curveball that was straight up 12-6. He had a 12-6 curveball. He thought he was the shit, right? But then he got to the big leagues, and suddenly that fastball wasn't fast enough. Everybody caught up to it, and that 12-6 curveball was a problem because a 12-6 curveball still drops through the middle of the plate. So like he was like he had to like learn to change his arm slot, which now you hear a lot of like coaches and pitchers discussing like arm slot and all this kind of thing, which no one 10 years ago was really talking about that quite as much, right? They were talking about mechanics given some star players who always had injuries as pitchers, but for a guy back in the 90s to realize he had to change his arm slot, which if you're listening to us like talking baseball and you're kind of like not entirely sure what that means, effectively imagine that you grow up pitching all the time and you're always, every time you throw the ball, your arm is coming from like 1 o'clock, like on a clock, let's say, right? And I'm a right-handed person, so if the clock is behind me, it's coming from like 11 o'clock, right? Yeah. And through your body like that, right? Changing your arm slot so that it's not always coming from 11 o'clock. Sometimes it's coming from a little higher, like almost noon. Sometimes it's coming from like 10 o'clock. If you can't throw multiple pitches but make it like deceptive so that even if your arm is in the same place, they can't tell what pitch is coming, then you're not going to have much success. So sometimes you have to change. You can't always be at 11 o'clock, but you have to like do something different on a pitch. Your fastball might come from 11, but it might come from 10. You know, your curveball might come from 10, but it could also come from 11. Like, who knows? If you're left-handed, it might come from 1, it might come from 2. But if it's got to be the same, and pitchers and batters get the idea that no matter what, here's what you do and how you do it, you're dead meat. You know, and it was fascinating. Listen to a guy from the 90s basically say he was a closer, he was a relief pitcher first, and then at some point he wanted to reestablish himself as a starter. So did you know Marvin Freeman Jr. holds the career ERA record for the Colorado Rockies?
I did not.
Yes. The Rockies, towards the end of his career, the Rockies gave him a chance as a starting pitcher. He wanted to reestablish himself as a starter. They gave him a chance, and this dude had an ERA in the 2s.
Wow.
In Coors Field in the 90s. He's the only one. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
This is impossible. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
I was fascinated listening to this guy.
Disruption then, right?
Right.
Yeah. So also for our Legion of Fan, although I'm sure you know everything about baseball, if you somebody who doesn't, the other thing worth pointing out to somebody who is not in the know is that a batter comes up to the plate and he can't see the ball. And I mean, he can't see the ball in the glove.
In the glove, yes.
Ball in the windup. He can't see the ball once it leaves the pitcher's hand.
Right.
So he's either getting a visual cue from, like you said, arm slot, or anything he can figure out visually from what the pitcher's body is doing, or he's just basically deduced what he think is going to come. Yeah. And so like the brilliant pitchers are the ones that can say, you think I'm going to throw a fastball here, and you're going to get a changeup.
Yeah.
Haha.
Gonna get a slider. Yeah.
And I can hide it so you won't know I'm doing that. And that's what you got to do, because they cannot see that. So shows you how brilliant major league hitters are. They are hitting things that they can't see.
I heard a story about how Barry Bonds learned to hit a baseball.
Yeah.
And he learned it by his dad and Willie Mays, like basically, pitching to him, and they would throw golf balls. And what they would do is they would paint dots on the golf ball, and they would tell him, only swing if you see a yellow dot, only swing if you see a red dot, only swing if you see a blue dot. So it's incredibly hard for hitters to actually see that ball as it's coming, because there's not a lot of time. The pitcher's only 60 feet away, right? Yeah. Something 90 miles coming at you 95 miles an hour takes no time to get to you, right? But if you have good enough eyesight and fast twitch and hand-eye coordination that you can tell what color the dot is on a golf ball coming at you, right? There's a lot of things you can see. And it's training you, that kind of thing trains you to really pay attention to every little detail, right? Now players are able to pick up the spin, right? They're looking for how something's spinning, which tells them what's coming, right? They can't really see the ball, but if they pick up the laces moving a certain kind of way, any clue, they will take advantage of that if they can. And you kind of need to keep them off balance. You have to kind of do it, because if you don't, then you get these like home runs that get hit. Like I just saw the Cubs game is on here, and Kyle Schwarber just hit a home run that when that ball touched that bat, I thought the ball was going to come apart, like squaring up the entire barrel of the ball. Some of these guys, they're built like Mack trucks, and you don't want that to happen to you. It's demoralizing. Utterly and completely demoralizing.
Demoralizing, yeah. I love it. So talking about deception and disruption, especially disruption, I think just insist that we have a moment here on Zack Greinke.
Okay. Zack Greinke, who recently was in a game, and because there's no fans in the stands, Zack Greinke has what I might call baller move of the year, which is to say out loud to the catcher basically what he wants to throw, right? Where the hitter can hear him and the hitter still can't hit that shit. Yeah. No, the second one. The second one you put down. 3 fingers. Nope, not that one. No, the other one. Yeah, that.
He's absolutely incredible. He's got it all, man. He's got just too much skill, as it is. And plus incredibly disruptive. It's like unwritten rules, forget about it. Greinke knows them all, and he'll just say, okay, I'm going to break this, because then he won't be able to hit my ball.
I've seen catchers say to the hitter, man, you have nothing happening for you today. This is going to be a bad day for you. My man's about to throw a slider. I'm just telling you what's coming. It's a slider, right? It's a slider, and you can't catch up to it, right? You can't get it. Like, that's the thing that's happened, but I've not seen a pitcher basically say, curveball.
Yeah.
I want to throw a curveball. So you be ready. Here comes a curveball. Hey, batter, here comes a curveball. It's going to be slow as shit. Here it comes. What you got? And nothing. Nothing.
Then it comes in at like 50 miles an hour, and like I could throw that. You know?
Yeah, it comes in at 50 miles an hour. But you know what? Like, when that happens, the 50-mile-an-hour pitch, because the arm motion is exactly the same, it looks like it's 100 miles an hour pitch.
Exactly.
Right? Like, but it's a 50-mile-an-hour pitch. That's just crazy.
I saw somebody do that with David Ortiz once, but I think it was like 54-mile-per-hour curveball, and Ortiz just, of course, like stood there looking because he couldn't figure it out.
It takes 2 minutes for it to get there.
He was like, "When do I start my swing?" I was so confusing, and then Ortiz just steps out of the box and just laughing, you know.
Some Jamie Moyer stuff. Jamie Moyer was a pitcher, pitched in the major leagues for like 35 years. And the dude, like, I mean, he looked like somebody's biology teacher. And like Jamie Moyer would come up to pitch, and you just knew damn well there was nothing Jamie Moyer was going to throw that was over 88. He couldn't do it. He couldn't, like, he hadn't thrown anything 90 miles an hour since his third year in the league. This dude could not do it. But he could stay in the league forever because the man made it look like he's about to just fire it up there. And here comes just junk after junk after junk. And I think Jamie Moyer probably got like longevity in this league, playing in an era in which so many batters were on steroids because they come up just hype, ready to just jack the ball out of the stadium. And Jamie Moyer doesn't throw you anything you can just jack out of the stadium. He throws you shit you can just foul off all day.
That's right, yeah.
Right? You're going to hit a lot of ground balls in places, you know, like you didn't mean, damn it, you just wanted to pull it into the parking lot, and you can't because the ball still hasn't gotten to you yet. Like,
that's right.
He's rolling it to you.
I mean, I love Scherzer because he just, like, you know, 20 strikeout games, 11 strikeout games, 13 strikeout games.
Yeah.
He just goes, I mean, 20 is a little high, but he's done it like 3 times or something.
Sure.
He gets into double digits, and you're just like, he's just going pound, 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 pound. You just can't believe it. You're just completely dazzled. But the guys that can induce the ground balls are so much fun to watch because they'll have an inning. And you'll start counting, and they'll get 3 outs on like 4 pitches, 6 pitches, 7 pitches. It's like so much fun, and you see that a lot with relievers. You know, where they come up, you're like, he just got 3 outs on 6 pitches. I just love it. I love it because that's what you get with the ground ball guys when they're really good. You know, you can have a lot of fun that way.
Jamie Moyer, I just looked him up. He looks like your mailman. This guy, like he's 6. He was 6 foot, or he is 6 foot 170. He probably not anymore though. His last year was like 2012. Yeah. He played from 1993 to 2012. No, not even. He played from 1986. 1986
yes.
to 2012.
Yes.
His final team was, can you guess?
The Rockies.
Yes.
I think I actually got to go see him pitch because he was a little bit of a personal hero. I think did he have like Tommy John when he was 50 or something like that? Probably.
Do you know what his first team was?
I thought it was the Phillies were before the Rockies. No, I don't. I don't actually.
I remember specifically when he debuted because he was a Cub.
Okay.
He debuted with the Cubs in 1986
wow.
and played till 2012. Like, there are people who like got jobs and retired in that amount of time.
Yes.
You know, people like bought homes and then moved out of those homes to get into other homes. They're like empty nesters. People's kids grew up and went to college.
Well, think of how many generations of players he saw and even mentored throughout his time. You know,
easily.
Yeah, he almost should have like those like half glasses that kind of sit because he's got that nose, that ski slope nose that kind of sit down there and just kind of.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. He seems like a very soft-tempered.
You know who he looks like if you look at a picture of him? He looks like Bill Murray. He kind of looks like Bill Murray to me.
He does, yeah. Same kind of nose and same kind of, you know, slant to the eyes. Like if you were going to caricature the two guys, they would look pretty similar.
25 seasons.
Yep. You know, in 1986, I was in New York and going to Mets games, and I heard through the grapevine, not with my own ears, that Gary Carter on the days that Dwight Gooden was pitching, he'd be behind the plate just saying to the batter, here it comes, right down broad. I don't think you'll be able to hit it. I don't think you can hit it.
Right. You could not. Yeah.
First, I was partially shocked. I'm like, what? You're telling the batter what's coming? But then it's like, oh, well, it's not good. And of course, because forget about it. You're not going to hit it. Yeah. Well, those were some wonderful days. And I thought they'd never come again, but Scherzer's been pretty exciting to watch.
It's sure. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I watched.
Scherzer has that ability.
I watched his Friday game yesterday, I think, and they had a little sequence. I think he'd already gone out of the game. It was top of the seventh or something. They were waiting for play to resume, and they played the sequence where it was just all 11 of his K pitches in a row.
Okay.
Counting up to 11, and I was stunned at how much noise they made. Because that's what FP said, you know, the guy who does color for the Nats.
Yeah.
He said, you know, so just take a listen. You got to hear this. And he was right. I thought, no, they're amplifying that. They're playing with us. Somebody's clapping something around there. But it was so loud, just hitting the glove, just so loud. And I thought, man, how does that guy's hand feel?
Right.
I think it was Kurt Suzuki. It's like, how does that hand feel after a day like that? I just can't imagine. I can't imagine taking that kind of punishment.
Bo Jackson this week tweeted a play where he's throwing out a runner. He's basically doubling off a runner. I don't know if he threw him out for sure, but I don't know if he doubled him off. But like, the runner had come around first base or was on first base and started going to second on what looked like basically a ground ball to left field. And he should be able to basically like get back. He needs to get back to first base, and he should be able to do it, except Bo Jackson gets this ball in left field and throws it so hard to George Brett at first base that George Brett, when he catches the ball, he immediately just turns, tags the bag, and starts walking to the dugout. Because Brett said the ball was still accelerating as it got to it.
Oh, wow.
Like, he breaks George Brett's hand damn near. Like,
wow.
throwing a ball like that.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he must have doubled a runner off who thought he could tag up and go.
Yeah.
But like he must not have thought that Bo Jackson was going to catch the ball in the first place, and Bo Jackson did. And then not only did he catch it, but then he just guns this dude out at first base from left field, and he got him by like 15 feet. Like he was out by a large margin.
Okay.
Hard to do.
The day after my boyfriend hit that grand slam in the 7th or the 8th inning or whatever it was.
Sure.
I said, okay, that does it. I'm never missing another game that this guy plays in. But I don't always like sit and stare at the screen, right? I'm probably like most home fans is that sometimes I get up and I do things. Games are long, and I'm not sure quite what I was doing, but I heard them, suddenly screaming, "Oh, Manny Machado! What a catch in right field!" And it was the one where he was running up the line and he had his and he caught the ball.
Yes.
So that was gorgeous, and yeah, wow, that was gorgeous. But instead, I was like super confused because I'm like, I thought Manny Machado played third base. When did he move to right field?
By just running in that direction.
Exactly. And I thought, well, maybe they moved him to first base. And I actually had to go look it up because the cameras weren't quite catching all of this activity, right? So I actually had to go look it up. They're like, yeah, well, the computer says third base, so maybe they didn't update it. I don't know. And but sure enough, the guy, and they said it was in the shift, but then like 3 days later, he did it again. And
yeah. So if they were in the shift, it means that he wasn't at third base. He was technically at shortstop. Yeah. So all he has to do is just start hauling ass towards second base, and just he feels like he can make a play. But to me, that says there's also a lot of players over there. So because everybody's moved that way.
Well, now I'm wondering, like, I don't even know who plays right field for the Padres because it seems like Manny Machado is out there.
Like 3 outfield positions.
Like, who is actually out there? And I've noticed that they do have some guys at the bottom of the order that they swap out, right?
Yes.
Like, I noticed that Austin Naylor's not always in the game, so maybe he's like a right fielder. And I don't know who plays the outfield for the Padres. Isn't that bad?
Let's find out.
Tatis Jr. plays for the Padres.
I know. He plays shortstop, so in that game he was probably playing second base.
Yeah.
Right, because the shift was on.
Yeah. And boy, does he play shortstop! Wow,
Yeah.
And I can't remember who plays first base, but they make a nice team, those two.
Let's see. So we're gonna go. I want to say Will Myers, but it might not be Will Myers. They however did they had Mitch Moreland, but Mitch Moreland is gonna DH for them.
Hosmer's on first base.
Hosmer's first base. That's right. I always forget Eric Hosmer because I think, like in my brain, he's basically like a glorified pinch hitter.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He seems to be better than that every year.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you, this is the first year that I've thought, ooh, Hosmer. You know, even with his time on the Royals when the Royals were good, Phil just like you, it was like kind of Hosmer, you know. So what the Padres got him, he's Hosmer. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's one of those things. I don't know if it's true, but we observe it to be true that when a team starts clicking, everybody starts clicking just a little bit more.
Yep.
That certainly seems to be the case, and so this is maybe giving Hosmer a chance to be Hosmer, or it's the haircut because it is.
Yeah, Hosmer at first. It looks like Jake Cronenworth primarily at second.
Yes, he's a big
Machado at third. Yeah, and Tatis at short. Left field is Josh Naylor.
Okay.
And sometimes Jurickson Profar.
That's right. Yeah.
Trent Grisham in center, and Will Myers is right field.
Okay.
So it's Will Myers who got embarrassed by Manny Machado.
At least once. And we have to mention Machado's facial hair because it's really strange. See if you get a look at his. It looks like he's growing mutton chops, but then like not actually letting them grow in. Like he's growing mutton chops, but he's shaving them super close.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Yeah. All right. Hold on. Legion of Fan, you got to see this dude because this is a bad idea. Let's see if I can do this. We're going to share screen. We tried this last time when you guys weren't able to see.
I think we got there. I just think it took us like 15 minutes.
The host, when you're ready, you got to do a share screen thing so that like you could. Here, I'll send it to you, and then maybe you can share your screen.
Here we go. I have multiple participants. See if that works. Do I give you the right?
Let's try it.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, wait. Okay, here we go. Share that.
Are we ready?
My computer's thinking about it. Today's the day my computer.
No, I messed up again.
No, well, let me do it.
Here we go. This whole thing has been you the whole time. Nobody's seen me yet.
All right, here we go.
You know, like 5 years down the road or so, when we're so popular that we're actually like making a living off of this.
Yes.
These will be our archives that everybody will want to go back
entirely.
to. We were so
you should have seen the first season of Drop Third Strike. It would take 5 minutes to get a screen share going.
Yeah.
In the old days, it was like AOL. And I'm going to be like, yeah, that was like 4 laptops ago, you guys.
Yeah, no, these will be the charming origin stories.
Right?
Yeah, the day Beth didn't record. The day that she recorded herself using Zoom like a mirror while she waited for you.
That was a good day.
The day that she forgot to tell you that you were recording. Yeah. I am like a walking blooper reel, aren't I?
It's good times.
So when we see,
I wouldn't have it any other way.
I know, right?
Well, now I don't. Let's see. Hold on. It might be that my computer just refusing to cooperate. So what I'm going to do is, let's see if I can just get some element of control back over on my end.
Okay.
While I try to figure this out, why don't you tell us about the latest thing Mookie Betts did?
Well, I watched the Dodgers game last night just because they said that they were on pace to win 118 games in a regular season. And I thought, that's actually not outrageous, but they're obviously really, really good and the team to beat. So I thought I'd give them a look. And Mookie was just having his normal I'm incredible at this game kind of a game.
Sure.
So as a result, what I noticed about him is that he was wearing blue shoelaces on his left foot and red shoelaces on his right foot. On
red ones on his right foot?
Looking shoes. And so,
wow.
As usual, I love Mookie's fashion choices. I'm always commenting on those, I know. But, I mean, that looked really cool. And I forgot to look up, see if it had any particular symbolic meaning or if it's just that he likes red and blue. But, no, it had to be because the shoes were kind of white.
Okay.
Maybe it was kind of like a patriotic thing, like red, white, and blue.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, you know, just like sort of standing up for this is our country. Do you remember that song? That
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But anyway, it looks really cool. So especially when he's on base, but also when he's batting, you know.
So it's probably not gonna my screen share thing probably isn't gonna work because my computer is now telling me that Zoom isn't responding, but I can still hear you.
Yeah.
So you're still recording, so we won't worry about it. It will clear up at some point on my end, and if it doesn't, we won't worry about it.